I never want to leave a man behind, but in this case, I must unfortunately talk, and I wanted to honor the appointment. I called Cindy yesterday, but something very important has come up. Not that this meeting is not important. Let's honor this appointment. I'll be here. But I have to be back at the Civic just after 11 to be mic'd up. We've got a live broadcast. The mayor and myself will be doing a live broadcast on the ease of doing business. So perhaps let me start talking about the ease of doing business, since that's going to be the topic of today's live broadcast. The World Bank has got indicators. You've heard about the ease of doing business indicators by the World Bank. And so they, and I'm very happy actually that they decided to scrap it, because it's nothing to go by, because they measure you on indicators that are outside of our control. For example, if you've got an embassy in your city, you get a higher ranking. Now, we don't have embassies in Cape Town because of our political landscape. The union buildings are in Pretoria, hence the embassies located in Pretoria. We've got Parliament Cape Town, therefore we've got consulates. So, for me, the World Bank indicators are a little bit unfair, right? So, they have now decided not to continue with the indicators, which is fine by me. But my mission with my team in the Department of Economic Growth at the City of Cape Town, and I'll tell you more about what we do in a moment, is to make Cape Town the easiest place to do business. Now, I realize that I'm sitting here with people in the field that have you can't tell them much about doing business, because you've got your businesses and you know how difficult it is sometimes to procure or to get access to market, and we'll touch on those things in a moment. But even if you start a new business, the time it takes to get electricity connected to your factory or to your business premises, that's an indicator. The submission of building plans. So if you want to set up shop, a new factory, you need to submit plans. And the time period, I wanted to say it would be late, but that's the thing. So we want to see what are we doing inside of the city, our own business processes, from the time it takes to get the plan through all the stages until the approval, etc., etc. How can we make those internal processes work faster? With speed, with efficiency, but making sure that we mean business.
Oh, no, go into the on that side.
So, and you know the municipality is a big place, right? It's roads, it's transport, it's area cleaning, health, parks, libraries, you name it. And then you've got the Department of Economic Growth. How do we fit into this equation or into the ecosystem? Well, we as the department are responsible for small business support, trade, that would be international, Africa, and local, enterprise development, tourism, international relations. So those are all things that my team and I are responsible for. And on the small business support, there's a couple of important programs that we are running that we would like to share with you. So I'm just going to talk more holistically. And when you look at trade, for example, how do we connect Cape Town to key source markets around the world? I like to think of Cape Town as a AAA rated city. Accommodation, aviation, and attractions. Now, you know, AAA is usually a term used for credit rating or real estate. And I really think that Cape Town is a AAA rated city.
All batteries.
All batteries. And certainly we need many more batteries because we want to generate our own electricity. So we need to store electricity. I'll touch on that because there's some exciting developments in that space. So on all of those categories, we have now received an 80% plus performance rating. We have clever campaigns and we're working around the clock to get more demand comes back to Cape Town. We're at the southern tip of Africa. We are a long-haul destination, so we Cape-based products to get to market. It's difficult and it's expensive. So my department, we are looking at how do we get easier access for Cape-based product to market. Trade deals, and I'm always out looking for more trade deals. Cape Town, just come back from the UK and Turkey to sign trade agreements with their cities, Berlin, Istanbul, Amsterdam. I spoke yesterday morning on Cape Talk around our 24-hour economy that I'm busy working on. Because we don't have a 24-hour economy in Cape Town. Just imagine if we can put more hours into production. If we produce more, we employ more. If you sell more, you employ more. It all comes down to making the unemployment queue shorter. In my office, I have a banner that says, when you come into my office, you must come with an idea how to make the unemployment queue shorter. Otherwise, I can't give you time in my time. Because otherwise, you're just going to call. I want you to come up with ideas how to make the unemployment queue shorter. So when I talk to Cape-based companies, and I say Cape, because it could be city, plus some of the areas around us. So I'm mindful that products come from Stellenbosch, Paarl, West Coast, and so we don't just operate here on our own. There's a whole ecosystem. So if you look at agriculture, those products come into Cape Town, the agri-processing happens here, and then from here we export. That's why you see a lot of new cold storage facilities going up. And my team and I are very much working in that space, because cold storage is a game changer. I know you didn't expect me to talk cold storage today, but it just shows you how we are busy making sense of it all. So if you get products coming from as far as Nelspruit, Davos, they come here to Atlantic Hills. I don't know if you know where that is. It's just outside Beechwood. As you turn off onto the N7, you'll see that new industrial park. So there we have now got Amazon data services under the ground. We've got massive cold storage facilities going up. And so those are the type of investments that we facilitate. I stand here proud to say that we are there. We are in it with those developers and with those investors. Because we can't just wait for things to happen. We need to make them happen. And so these things don't fall out of the sky. They come with a lot of hard work. Because if you look at the economy, especially the economies of scale, it will never be the same again. COVID was a shock to the system. Day zero, that was also a shock to the system. And there will be many more shocks. I spoke last night to the ambassador of Germany. We had a function down the road at his residence when we launched a new animation deal for Cape Town. Walt Disney, they are looking to set up shop here in Africa. They've got already some work they're doing in Ethiopia, and I signed a deal with them last night to do more animation production here in Cape Town. Because we've got stories to tell. Just imagine if you look at animation and you can see it, the Cape Town flavor coming through. I mean, it's going to be unique. And so you mentioned to me that Berlin is going through a huge drought. Their rivers are empty, so they can't transport coal. And so when winter comes, they've got a big problem. They don't have gas. So they won't be able to transport coal, right? So their rivers are dry, big drought, and they also have some load shedding of their and you know, it just made me realize how shocks to the system from all over the world, Ukraine, Russia, have an impact on food prices and the whole value chain. And speaking to the ambassador last night was a shock for me because we do a lot of trade with Berlin. And so today I'll be meeting with my heads of department to figure out what trade deals do we have in our currency in Berlin, what do we need to do to move the debt. So can you see how quick we need to be as a city government in looking at the international trade trends. And in fact, one of my staff members are now in Berlin signing a trade deal on my behalf because I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't say no to Cindy. So rather, I came here. So Edwin is there, he's meeting with the mayor of Berlin on my behalf, and we're signing a trade deal with him for more flights. Because flights is also a game changer. We are now landing more flights than we did before COVID. The frequency coming out of Europe, we are signing them up. And we also now obviously have the North American market opened up with Washington, Atlanta, Houston, and New York. Those flights will all be arriving from November to December. And then also a direct flight coming out of Brussels on the 15th of September. I'm talking now to South America. I've got a meeting with their ambassador later, well, in September, and we're looking at South America, also some good opportunity there. So when these markets open up, we look at what can we export. Clothing and textile, North America, they love our clothing. So clothing and textile used to be a big industry in Cape Town, employed about 250,000 people, now about 25,000 people. That number might be much higher. So you've got the TG group that's going through a massive restructuring. We help them put the deal together because if factories close, we go there. We want to find out why. So in my department, we have a program called DR&E, Business Retention and Expansion. So when businesses go through difficulty, we go in, we figure out how to help them. We even have a deal with Productivity SA, and Carla can talk more about that also later on, because with Productivity SA, the beauty of that program, they'll come in, they look at your processes, your operations, how to improve your efficiency. And that is an agreement that we've signed with them as the City of Cape Town to see how we can help Cape Town companies with their production, no matter the size. Because if you are optimal, you employ more. It goes back to the employ more all the time. But how do we get your products to market? Right? So that was for me the game changer. And we came up with a thing called the Cape Trade Portal. So it's called the CapeTradePortal.com, and any product from food and bev, pharmaceutical, clothing, you name it, any product can get connected with an international buyer through that portal. So it's one of those measures how do we make life easier for business. Because when I visit businesses on the factory floors or in the boardrooms, I say, James, but how do we get our product to market? And that is actually the million-dollar question. And so last year we developed this trade portal free of charge. You load your product there, and we can then connect you with buyers all around the world. Since we've launched, we have 180,000 hits on the portal. Lots of success in Europe and UK with some of our products. They love our products, which is great. Because I am very confident that we have some of the best products coming out of Cape Town that can compete with products all around the world. Even automotive markets. That's why I went to Turkey to see it, because they dig on automotive components, and we are looking at setting up more automotive plants here in Cape Town. Not automotive plant, more production. Because I think that could be an important part of the assembly, because we don't build cars in Cape Town. It's all in East London, Vietnam, Gauteng, now the big four. So we have to say to ourselves, okay, we can't compete with that, that's just massive. But what can we do? We can do the automotive components. Daimler Chrysler, out in Atlantis, they produce engine block for Mercedes and so on. We're talking to a German-based company, Rom, to do some of the electronics here in Cape Town. iSense, TVs and fridges for the world will be made here in Cape Town, Atlantis. They have already a plant in Atlantis, but we're helping them with their expansion to double up. And part of that is the skills. And I want to come to skills now, because all the things I'm talking will go nowhere if we don't invest in the right skills. So my department also has a number of skills programs that we run. And it's not training for training's sake. It's really to make sure that we prepare Cape Townians for those future jobs. And so we have Jobs Connect and Cape Skills and Employment Accelerated Program. Call centers, for example, are the fastest growing sectors in Cape Town. And we actively work with the call center industry to get more call centers to set up shop in Cape Town. And we have now about 70,000 Cape Townians employed in call centers. This year alone, 8,000 new jobs will come out of call centers. 8,000 new jobs. So happy. But how did it happen? Because we provide the skills. So when companies like Teleperformance and Capita and sewing machine factory there, Kensington, remember you can see it from the M5, that's our call center for Capita. So we bring them here all the time. Athlone has got a beautiful call center there that we've helped set up, and Mitchell's Plain and so on. But when those call centers come, we need to give them job-ready Cape Townians. And so through our programs, we can then prepare Cape Townians for those jobs that will come. So that when, and another important one, boat builders. Boat building is a massive sector in Cape Town. We are now number 2 in the world for catamaran, super yacht, category, number 2 after France. And so it's a massive industry. Robertson and Kane employs 3,000 people. And so the list goes on. So, and that company has 350 catamarans on the production line for this year. So, again, skills. Because to make those catamarans skill set. So we provide through our partners, Blue Cape, KBO, the Cape Clothing and Textile Cluster, the Cape IT initiatives. We provide skills training for Cape Townians to all of our business partners. And you'll hear me speak maybe on radio when I talk about SPVs, which is special purpose vehicles. And those, it's just makes the work for business partners. So all of our business partners that we work with in those high growth businesses, the main priority is their skills development. And so it's really exciting because Cape Town's economy is broad and sectoral. Sectoral because we make things in Cape Town, in each one of those sectors that I've mentioned so far, and many others. But broad also because we have a thriving business ecosystem. We are really strong in the but how do we make our businesses bigger and better? Not to make a small business a big business or to make an informal trade a formal business. Because there's different definitions. But to make sure that small businesses have the tools to grow their business. So we have Productivity SA as a partner that can come in and do an analysis of your efficiency, your productivity, come up with new ways of perhaps doing your workflow, etc. We also have a smart procurement and supply development platform where we can help small businesses with their smart procurement. Because it's tough out there. It's tough to compete for big business. And there's a lot of competition. And so these programs are designed to make your way of doing business smarter and more laser focused. So that when you put in a bid with that big company to do the cleaning or to provide services and goods or whatever the case is, whatever your line of business, smart procurement and supply development, are 2 of the most important features when it comes to how you do your business, how you pitch, how you market, how you produce, how you sell, etc., etc. And the 2 themes actually says for smart procurement, that's exactly what it is. How do you procure smartly, and on the supply development, how do you develop your supply pipeline? And so I'm giving Carlos some markers because I want him to talk more about those programs when I leave. So those are programs that are available to all small businesses. We've moved those programs virtual, so you can simply go onto any electronic device in the comfort of your office or home, and you can take part in those workshops. So, and those workshops are happening all the time. And you can look at the lineup and you can decide what will work for you. It's pricing, because a lot of businesses are pricing themselves. So there's a workshop around pricing, a workshop around marketing, and then also the network. Because you certainly, I mean, you'll be full shooting if you don't network, and if you don't come together like this, you're not going to grow. So I just want to say to Cindy and the team, I'm really, really grateful for the platform and the network that you are establishing. And for the work that you do, I'm talking about work that you do in the community, and that's really commendable. Then we've got also some other interesting initiatives that the department does around place marketing, supply, enterprise development. So there's a whole range of other programs that is available to business. We also do growth coalitions. Now, growth coalitions is a new thing that we are launching later this month. One of the fastest and more export-oriented sectors is food and beverage. Cape Town scores right there at the top when it comes to food and beverage. And so later this month we're launching a food and beverage growth coalition of all the food and beverage suppliers in Cape Town. Because it's high time that we get the right people and network amongst ourselves. And so in preparation of this launch on the 31st of August of the first growth coalition in Cape Town for the food and beverage sector, we've been talking to people in the industry. And even in talking to them, we've realized that it's long overdue because they want to do business with one another, but they've never been in the same group. So as a city government, we just want to put them in the same group, identify the things that's holding them back. I know tariffs to export is very high. We have some free trade on the southern, but to get some of our products to North America, to Europe, it's just expensive. And so I want to find out from the players themselves, what are the issues holding you back? Tariff, availability of land, the high cost of doing business. Let's figure it out and then look at solutions. Because I really want to make our sectors perform much better, because if they perform better, they employ more. So these are some of the things we're doing. And of course, you know, we're very mindful. COVID was a very difficult time for businesses. And if we look at the numbers now, some sectors are really outperforming if compared to 2019. And I'm really happy. But there are some sectors that we really need to get started. And those sectors have a direct link with small businesses, the entire ecosystem. And it comes down again to the smart procurement and the supply chain. We need to get that right. And I'm really confident that if we spend more time building small businesses' capacity to do more, to compete for bigger opportunities, and not to be excluded from contracts. Because there are consortiums, they come and they take it all. And of course I can't fiddle in that space because we have a free market. But what I can do is through the work that we do as a city, come up with solutions for small businesses and try and deal with the things that are within our control. And if it's not, yesterday I had an interesting conversation with people in the fishery industry. And it's not part of our mandate. Fisheries sits with the national government. But what they shared with me actually gave me some ideas around how we as a city should get into that space. Because we have smallholders from there. And there's the oceans economy, it's massive. So it's not only the fisheries, but the repairs to the vessels, goods and services. So the whole thing needs to be looked at. So Carl, you'll get a message from me later. We have to get in the room with the fishermen and let's see. And that's why we are, as a city, always looking beyond our boundaries. Boundaries, really, because law has boundaries, and also our borders. And so when I talk to countries and cities in Africa and elsewhere, we do it because we know that in Cape Town businesses, you know, a better opportunity to do business and to get your products to market, and also to import. Because a lot of raw material comes into Cape Town for us to do what we do. And that's also part of the game changer. And then airport, we need to upgrade our airport. Airport is really too small. I know we love our airport, it's always winning awards, but it's a small airport. Our cargo capacity is way too small. So we're lobbying as a city to do some major improvements over time. We need a new runway, we need to upgrade the cargo handling capacity. The same for the port of Cape Town. We've read about the problems at the port, and so I've got a one-on-one with Minister Gordon coming up soon, where I'll put forward some ideas around privatization. There are some companies that are very interested in getting into the port operations space that can do it better than perhaps the National Port Authority. I don't know, but I'm happy to explore. So private sector is willing. I'm the first one to get that meeting for them with the Minister. Let's figure it out, because the port is going to hold a lot of our exports back. Yeah, and then as we approach the tourism, tourism season, almost in the summer season, but with this Cape, yesterday it was hot, today it's raining, you never know. It's like a baby, it's wet and windy and everything. But for the arrival of the tourism season, watch this space. We're going to make some announcements on the 1st of September, launch of Tourism Month. more pocket-friendly experiences for Capetonians. I'm really keen to do much more for locals. Of course, international visitors, they spend a lot and they are coming. And by the way, we are processing 30,000 people per day at Cape Town International. 30,000, 4,000 international. We're doing about 200 flights per day. That's why the airport's too small. I don't know what we're going to do in December, where we're going to park all the new aircraft that will arrive.
And the ships.
And the ships. We've got from October 104 cruise lines, starting in October. And what was a game changer? Two things. We built a dedicated cruise terminal. You've been there, Baker's Landing? We built it. In fact, it was one of the projects that we did within budget and ahead of schedule. It was, for me, a fantastic example of how you can do things. Of course, the DNA Waterfront is a key partner, but from the city, we are in that space because either dedicated cruise terminals, it makes it so much easier for me to go and hunt for cruise liners. And starting October until end of February, we've got 104 confirmed arrivals. So parking space is a problem, but it's a good problem to have. But as you know, in Cape Town, we'll make a plan. We've got connections. So we'll park there, we'll find space, but when those passengers disembark, they spend. And the same for conferences and events. The convention center, the city is a 70% shareholder in the convention center. Why? Because those conferences bring big money to the city. So the exciting news is that the convention center is fully booked until 2020. If you can put, and so what we do, we bid for conferences. We bid as tender, but we also bid. Because conferences and events are very competitive. If you score for choice, you're a hero, and they all money. But what we do is we go in with our holistic pitch. And this is why the city is just, that's why I love my job, because I'm surrounded with a really awesome team of officials and we do things smart. If you can put the word international in front of a conference name, we will have it until 2023. The International Staff Conference, the International Lung Conference, the International Oil Conference, the International Tree Conference, they all come. And I'm not making a joke, they're all coming. Because I mentioned on radio the other day, and the person who was interviewing me thought I was making a joke. I said, no, those are the conferences, they lined up. And then of course we've got the International Hockey, Sevens, netball. Yesterday I launched Fame Week with all the producers, creators of film. We've launched their conference yesterday in Cape Town for the whole week. And so the lineup is exciting, but the business benefit is even more exciting. So what we do in the bid submission is to make sure that many more smaller businesses benefit from those conferences. It's very similar to way back when we got our first cruise line. I was very excited and I made a big deal of it. And someone stood up and said, but when they get off the ship, they spend all the money in the DNA and then they leave again. So we've changed it. We're making sure the ships stay longer and that more tour operators belonging to Cape Town Tourism in the network of tourism will get benefit to pitch for tours, pick them up, take them around the city, alarm hopper, to Athlone, to Workout, you name it, so that the ship docks longer, because tourism is just two things, time and money. So if they spend more time here, they'll spend more money there. And then of course the other benefit is the ship repair and the ship maintenance and the goods and services. This farm, they love the wine from this farm. And so all the farmery, the wineries and the producers of some of our best food and so on, those are the stuff that end up on the shelves. So, and also they start, some of them even their world voyage from there. That's a big one. So the crew and the passengers fly in and they start their voyage from there, the world cruise. And so in that 104 lineup, we've secured a few of them. So you'll think, now what James saying all these things? Because as a city, we fund all of those programs. And I say it really because I mean it. it's not just nice to say to and to press, but it's, so we're very clear in where we invest our city funding, in which economic programs. Cruise, aviation, hospitality, small business support, and then all the other sectors, clothing, textile, automotive parts, and so the list goes, technology, so that we get the best return on skills and new jobs out of those sectors. And so the 8,000 jobs coming from all sectors, those are new jobs. It's not moving the numbers around. I don't want doing that. I want to be looking for new jobs all the time. And so it's 8,000 new jobs that come out of the system. Training, stipend, and job placement. That's the other nice thing about our programs. We actually go through the 3 stages. Otherwise you train and you leave people. You must train for the actual uptake, the actual job placement. So in any case. And so those are some of the work that we do. I've taken you on a complete wild journey now. I was all over the place, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot of all the things we do. And again, just to maybe end off with the reason why I'm leaving now is, if we don't hear from business, then I'm sure you're going to get it out. When I leave, you're going to get it out. Then we don't know where to fix. And the mayor, you've heard him speak about policing and electricity. You heard me speak this morning about the economy. Really, really obsessed to make life easier for Cape Townians. And I think you feel it in the new city leadership. We just want to do things differently, and we realize that in some places we're falling short. Tell us about it. Service delivery. We know that we need to clean up Cape Town. We're also calling on Cape Townians to help us clean, because it's a two-way, but okay. On electricity, we're going to go out and we want National just to give us the full power, because they hold us back. In Atlantis, we have the biggest wind turbine factory. It's a Spanish company that we got. We said to them, come and build your factory at Cape Town. Build wind turbines all over the world. They're standing empty because national government gets to determine who makes and how many they make. And national government has not put out the tendering. So that massive wind turbine factory, just imagine if we can produce wind turbines at our peril and put them up in our city and start generating, right? Because that's actually how easy it is. Solar panels. We have some of the best solar panel manufacturers in Cape Town through a program that my department does with Saredi, South African Renewable Energy Incubator. We train solar panel manufacturers and installers. We train them. Because, by the way, if you Google now, the most searched job in America, it's a solar panel installer. The most searched for job. And that should be the same in Cape Town, because we've got sun and wind. So that's why we're continuously on a mission just to get more powers. I'm not going to say power because we're not power hungry, but to get the levers from rail to police and to energy. Just need to really get those 3 things right. Then all the other things that I've mentioned will just come much more easy. So on service delivery, we need to do more so that Cape Townians have a sense of belonging, and so that we can get all communities pulling together. Because I know that, if you go from suburb to suburb, and even from city to city, you can see things that need to be fixed. You can see things where we still have that history with us, right? Someone said the other day, if you look at our train network, you can actually see still how the design of the past is still catching up with us. And that really hurt. And so,
Alderman, I don't want you to get into trouble with your boss.
yeah, I'm looking at essentially, I know I'm getting a card out. And so, even in the drone network, the 24-hour economy thing, I can only do those things if we can get those other 3 things. Energy, rail, mobility, and policing. And then the other things will happen. And so this is a genuine conversation that we're having today now on a live broadcast. And because we want to hear from Cape Townians so that we can, this is what I mean, come up with our own business indicators. So that the Department of Planning can make it quicker. Electronic, why not electronic? Well, they do now have systems that can do electronic. But even more so, business applications, electronic. my department is going to introduce a new e-permitting system for the informal sector, so that people can see where are there available trading spaces in the city, so that we use the technology as a way to do our own things smarter. So in this year we'll be rolling out a new e-permitting system for small business. So technology is a game changer, and we must explore and invest much more in that. Cindy, thanks again for the invitation, and I would love to come back again. Yeah, quick. Yes, of course. So, yes, quick.
There was talk that Saldanha was being utilized as a port.
All right. So Saldanha with the IDZ.
Yeah.
So there's an industrial development zone at Saldanha, and in Atlantis we have a special economic zone. So those two areas is where we have business processes to allow the free flow of investment. So there's case. So yeah. So but I don't want to move all of our cargo to Saldanha. I would really like to see if we can get our own port fixed. It's just a few cranes and maybe a little bit of a change in layout. I'm making it sound easy. But if we use our competitive edge, if too much cargo goes into Saldanha, to get it back to Cape Town, it's going to be very difficult. So I'm going to continue pushing for us to get the system fixed. There are new cranes coming, it's on its way, especially for December when a lot of exports are going to happen from agriculture, so that we get the volumes out. So I'm hopeful and I'm holding thumbs. But Saldanha also needs to do much more of the bigger stuff. So in the IDZ and in the SEZ, where they manufacture, because it's two manufacturing zones, they can get quicker to Saldanha and can go. So I'm very much in favor of that, because we must spread the love. But for Cape Town, I still think on the light manufacturing, of the light manufacturing, because light manufacturing is things like agri-processing, smaller product that we can get into containers that needs to get to market quick, because there's expiries to food and so on. So I do think there's a place for both, and I know that the provincial government is agreeing with me that we don't move all the operations. We need to see if we can get both harvests functioning optimally, and then get more product produced. I know that the SEZ now has got 4 big developments coming to manufacture.
Your office is calling me.
Okay, they're calling me, okay. The problem is a live broadcast, so we have to be mic'd up, powder.
Thank you.
Colleagues, thanks very, very much. I really, really appreciate you understanding.